Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick overview of the features of one of the latest frames from SpeedyBee. This is the Mario5 frame. It's actually available in two different designs. We'll get into that in a minute. This, as you can probably see, is the dead cat style. Now, I really like the SpeedyBee frames. I use them quite a lot here. They are relatively cheap and cheerful, but their quality is actually really very good. The two that you'll have seen on the channel most recently, this one is the Master 5 V2 that I used in the Quad Building for Beginners series. It is a really large frame with lots of room that's let me put everything inside. And there's also this one here, the B35 Cinewoot frame, which again offers a lot of really nice features for not a lot of money. Now, this frame costs about $34 for the base version, or if you want all the kind of yellow fancy bits that I've got on here, then you can get the advanced version, which costs you another $6. So for less than $40, you can have a very nice frame. Available in two different flavors. This one here, as I've just said, is the Dead Cat or the DC style, and the other one is the XH style, a more classic X layout, which is probably better for things like GoPro flying. So all of the carbon on this is T300 3K carbon fiber. Top plate is 2.5mm. Middle plate, or the one below that flight control and everything bolts onto, is 2mm. And the very bottom plate at the bottom of the quad is another 2.5mm piece of carbon fiber. Arms are 6mm. There are silicone battery anti-slip pads that are in the kit. Maximum props on this are 5.1 inch, so this is a 5-inch quad. Flight controller mounts in this are unfortunately only for 30.5mm mounts, but things like the F4, V2 and other things that I've used in the Quad Building for Beginners series would actually fit really nice in here. VTX mounts, nice to see, both 20 by 20 and 25.5 by 25.5mm options at the back. And as you'll see in a moment, there's a nice big bay. So even if you're using one of the GGI 03 air units or one of the new Moonlight 4K systems from people like Walksnail, there's absolutely tons of room. The internal mounting height is 23 to 31mm. I'll show you that in a moment. And they've really thought about where everything can fit inside this model. I've had a number of these things in the past where when you're trying to build them and put everything in, they look fine, but then you realize there's no space for the capacitor, that you're trying to find out where you're going to put the receiver, and it all gets a little bit tricky. SpeedyBee seems to be really good at figuring that stuff out, and it's nice to see that there's not only a bay in the bottom to put your nice chunky capacitors with your flight controller. That is a fab way to put it out of the way so it's not going to be hanging out the back in the way of things like your DJI 03 air unit, but they've also thought about putting a little bay in for your little Express LRS or other receiver too, and that's going to sit underneath where your VTX is behind the flight controller stack. The receiver space is 35 by 13 by 6mm high, so that should fit pretty much most things these days. The capacitor recess is 10 by 20mm, and then the GPS install size, there is an optional GPS mount on this, 16 by 16 by 7, although the really nice thing with this is they have made all of the files available. So if you want to print your own, or you want to put them into your design program of choice and modify them for the kit that you have, you can absolutely do that. Now, if you can see here, I also have the additional bits here, so I'm going to add them in my build. So what's it like to build? Well, actually, it's really straightforward. I would recommend, though, having the little images in the manual that's available from the SpeedyBee website on a computer screen or a tablet somewhere and have it nicely zoomed in. If you follow the manual, then you should get it together reasonably easily. I wish there was a couple more steps shown in the manual. Personally, I think it's like one of those, if you've ever put any Lego together, rather than it showing you each individual step, it's one exploded diagram that has about 25 different things. That's what this looks like. Unfortunately, for a new builder, I think that's probably going to be a little bit too complicated. So SpeedyBee, if you're watching this, please release a manual that has at least another page that just shows how to put some of the key things together. Tolerances on this are very tight, so everything will snap together, but if it's fighting you, then just take a moment and take a step back, because you're potentially doing something wrong. When I'm building these things, I always have an emery board by the side of me in case anything just needs a little touch to go together. I didn't have to use it once, but I did have to reseat a couple of things just to make sure that everything sat down beautifully, especially the arms. There are only two potential gotchas when you're putting this thing together. First one is to make sure that you do install the sidewalls of the capacitor bay that go between the middle and lower deck plates. If you forget to do that, that is a very painful thing. Don't ask me how I know. And the other thing is, in the bags that you get at the beginning, there are two different lengths of these risers that go either from the middle to top deck or through things like the GPS mount and the nose here. Do not get those mixed up. The three in the bag are separate and they are designed for that GoPro mount and that chin protection piece for the camera. If you do get them mixed up, then you'll find that they will be proud when you push them into those plastics. And if they are nice and proud, then you know you've accidentally mixed them up. There are lots of things I really like about this frame. The first thing is obviously the price. This kind of frame with these kind of features for this kind of money is very nice indeed, and it does mean that if you have a quad that's coming to the end of its life that's been smashed up, or you have enough in the spares bin to potentially build another quad, then you know what, for this kind of money you can put it together, and there's some really cute features on here. I like the finish to the parts. The way that all the carbon fibre is finished is really nice. Everything is beveled on the outside, so as you hold it and put it in your hands, everything feels really, really comfortable. And they've also got it so that there are battery strap guides, not just through the top deck, but through the lower deck and even through the sides of things like the cat bay if you're not using it. The arms are removable by just removing the two screws, so you move the middle one and the outer one and the arm will remove. That is nice. That means that arm replacement is nice and easy. Make sure that you are getting the right ones. They are interchangeable from side to side, so there isn't a left and right arm. You just have to flip them around and they go together really well. I do like having separate arms personally. It does mean that if you accidentally snap one in a crash, although with being 6mm, these should be pretty rugged, you can replace them very easily. The capacitor bay, I love this idea. In my build, my quad builder for beginner series, I really struggled to find a place where the capacitor would sit, particularly when I've been testing some of the larger VTX units from people like Walksnail. Having this spot that will go underneath the power distribution board, the 4-in-1 ESCs at the bottom of the flight stack, just means that it can sit in there and it is well out of the way. And it should be big enough for all but the chunkiest of capacitors. There is an option to have a captive XT60 at the back. I love that idea, but there's also space here, so if you wanted to run power leads up through this and have a more traditional lead style, that's an option too, so you have the choice. And as I said, they have released the printable files for these things, so if you want to get hold of them and print your own, or print replacements in a different colour, if yellow doesn't float your boat, then you can do that too. There is space. This is the receiver bay here under where you would put your VTX or your Avatar unit or your HD0 or DJI system. There's absolutely loads of space under here for one of those kind of smaller antennas. And at the back, they have thought about how you're going to mount the antennas. There's this little thing here that you can clip in for either something like Crossfire or an Express LRS receiver, or if you're using something with more whippy antennas, there are the guides that go from the bay to allow you to put those out the sides. So lots of different options for antenna choices too, which is great to see. There is also something called frame protection that has LEDs and goes around the outside. I haven't got it on this model and I'm not sure you would absolutely need it. Personally, I like the air to get to the component to keep everything nice and cool. And there are optional foot pads here that go on the end of the arms, and I like those. I wasn't going to install them in my Master 5 V2 frame when I did that build, but actually they're great. They do keep the bottom of the quad from landing in all of the snot and grass and stuff that's in the field that you're flying. Only other things I'll draw your attention to, they have included mounting bolts for the flight control stack that go pretty much all the way up. So even if you have multiple stacks in here doing different things, you have absolutely tons and tons of room. If I grab the ruler, you can see here that it's about 23mm is the maximum height. However, realistically, you've only got about 22 because there is the top of the captive nut. Nice touch as well, having the flying lead for a VTX antenna. That means that if you did want to mount externally, then you can, and there is a cable that came with the kit that I have here. On the last couple of things I'll point out to you that are kind of cute touches. The GoPro mount is nice and low profile, and it's also far enough forward so you can get a reasonable sized battery on here, and the weight, hopefully with the action camera at the front and the battery on the top, is all going to work quite nicely. And you have got what they call air vents here at the side. I'm not sure if that's actually what they are, but they do look quite cool. And that kind of metal cage at the front with the vibration isolating pads. This is a standard thing that SpeedyBee do on a lot of their frames. Just be aware that one side will give you slightly more of a recess than the other. These are great to make sure that your camera is nice and vibration isolated. Definitely something you want to be looking at, particularly if you're going to be running something like a 4K camera in here. So this is another fab frame from SpeedyBee. They do seem to be knocking it out the park at the moment with the stuff that they are releasing. Again, this is an awful lot of frame for $36 or just under $40 if you get all of the goodies. Stay tuned, there is some more stuff that is on its way from SpeedyBee, and there's a couple of pieces in particular that I think you'll be very excited about. But if you've been looking at this on the website, hopefully this is a little bit easier to kind of visualize what it is and how it all goes together. It is a great little quad. The only thing is, when you're putting it together, just make sure that you put the little side pieces on your capacitor bay before you screw the bottom plate to the middle plate, and also make sure that you have the right risers installed in these yellow pieces in the chin and for the GoPro mount, so that that all works nicely too. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.